Hello, and welcome back to the Bix Beiderbecke Museum. Today we move with Bix from his summer at Hudson Lake to his unbeatable year touring with the Goldkette Orchestra. It was here that Bix parted ways with Pee Wee Russell, who went on his own path. In September of 1926, Bix left Northwest Indiana and returned to Detroit, Michigan, where the Goldkette Orchestra was based. The newly formed tour group was made up of veterans from the Hudson Lake Band and others from the Island Lake Band, another performance Goldkette had run. With Tram as director, they headed east to dazzle and delight new audiences. Their tour through New England would end in 2 weeks' worth of performances in New York City at the Roseland Ballroom, what would turn out to be an especially grand finale. During this time, the Goldkette Orchestra would engage in a battle of the century with the house band, Fletcher Henderson's orchestra. The end result was a win for Goldkette, with one of the Henderson band members saying, "We simply couldn't compete with Gene Goldkette's orchestra. Their arrangements were too imaginative and their rhythm too strong." Those imaginative arrangements were the work of Bill Challis, another man Bix called his friend. While Challis himself played piano and saxophone, it was his skill at arranging that would strengthen his ties with Bix. Though Goldkette's Victor Orchestra remained based out of Detroit in the Greystone Ballroom, they often toured and found themselves back in New York City playing at the Roseland Ballroom. They played to what pianist Paul Mertz described as salvos of applause and cheering. At the same time, the orchestra worked once again with Victor recording, now with electronic techniques that captured both Bix and Tram's unique sounds. Tram also pulled Bix into doing recordings with smaller bands at OK Records, producing hits like Clarinet Marmalade and Singing the Blues. With a push, Tram convinced Bix to record his solo piano piece, In a Mist, in 1927. The 1920s jazz scene that the Goldkette Orchestra played for went hand in hand with dancing. While the dancers enjoyed the new takes on jazz they heard, they themselves sparked lively debate with new dances that were considered expressions of freedom. The waltz and tango remained ever popular, but the foxtrot, Charleston shimmy, and black bottom joined them. An extremely good dancer even got their own code name, an Oliver Twist. Liquor, still banned by prohibition, gained the moniker Gigglewater, while a nightclub that illegally sold it was a Blind Pig. During the height of the Roaring Twenties, Bix would be reunited with old friends who had also been sought out by Goldkette. Among the people he met up with again was a friend he had made during his Lake Forest Academy days, Don Murray. Much like Hoagie Carmichael, Murray and Bix had met at the Friars Inn, and the two had struck up a friendship during nights out in Chicago's jazz scene, enjoying the music and plenty of giggle water between the two of them. Murray himself was a talented saxophone and clarinet player and found himself playing at Bix's side in the Goldkette Orchestra. Many other old friends and bandmates met up during this unbeatable year with Goldkette, including drummer Chauncey Morehouse, saxophonist Doc Riker, pianist Paul Mertz, and trombonist Bill Rank. Displayed in the museum is one of Rank's trombones. Bix once said he was his favorite trombone player. This group of musicians would form a band of brothers during their tours throughout New England. Moments of downtime have been captured on film, showing the playful friendships that developed within the band. Some of these movies, including one in which the orchestra plays at the Bronx Zoo, can be seen during an in-person trip to the museum. Even more photographs show Bix, Don Murray, and many others having the time of their lives. However, even an unbeatable year would come to an end. With melancholic chords in the harmony, Bix's In a Mist would turn out to be a haunting echo of the last days of the Goldkette Orchestra. Unfortunately, the overhead costs of Gene Goldkette's many orchestras became too much for him to handle, and all of them were dissolved. Before it was all over, though, Bix would formally move to New York City, where he would make his home for the rest of his life, alternating with his trips back home to Davenport. Join us in the next video as we see how Bix fared following the end of the Goldkette Orchestra.